Have you ever chased a dream so fiercely that the world had no choice but to stop and notice? Have you ever been told you don't belong, and then forced your way into history with nothing but willpower? This is not just the journey of a footballer. This is the story of a soul on fire. From the forgotten heart of Africa, where dusty roads cradle the feet of barefoot children, emerged a boy whose dreams roared louder than poverty, louder than doubt, louder than impossibility. That boy was Sadio Mané. Born on April 10, 1992, in the remote village of Bambali, Senegal, Mané grew up with nothing but resolve. His family lived in a tiny mud house with no electricity, no running water, and very little food. His father, a village imam, envisioned a quiet religious life for his son. But Mané? He dreamt with his feet. He kicked makeshift balls through the dirt streets, dodging goats and hunger with equal grace. Every pass, every shot, every run was more than a game, it was a rehearsal for freedom. At 15, he left everything behind. Without telling his family, with no phone, no money, just blind belief, he set off for Dakar to attend football trials. The journey was not just physical, but emotional, leaving his mother, his friends, and the only life he'd ever known, chasing a future that existed only in his imagination. When he arrived at the trials, he was mocked. Torn boots, oversized shorts, a shirt that had seen better years. But when the ball met his feet, laughter turned to silence. Jaws dropped. The room watched in awe. He joined the Generation Foot Academy, where his brilliance became undeniable. He trained day and night, often skipping meals to make ends meet. A partnership with French club FC Metz opened doors, and in 2011, Mané moved to Europe. It was a culture shock, freezing winters, foreign tongues, and a life far from everything he understood. It was survival all over again. From Metz to Red Bull Salzburg in Austria, he rose. He trained harder than ever. He studied his own gameplay, obsessed over positioning, and became a student of the sport. At Salzburg, he began to earn respect, not just for his pace and footwork, but for his discipline, his drive. In 2014, he moved to Southampton in the English Premier League. It was here that he set a record for the fastest hat-trick in Premier League history, 3 goals in just under 3 minutes. That feat wasn't just historic, it was symbolic of how quickly life can turn when preparation meets opportunity. Then came Liverpool. In 2016, Jurgen Klopp signed Mané, and the boy from Bambali became a global name. Alongside Mohamed Salah and Roberto Firmino, Mané formed one of football's most lethal attacking trios. He helped Liverpool lift the Champions League in 2019, and a year later, they conquered England with their first Premier League title in 30 years. But even among the brightest lights, Mané's humility shined brightest. He celebrated with quiet dignity. He trained like a rookie. He passed the ball when he could have taken the shot. He ran to defend when others slowed. He never let the fame rewrite the story of where he came from, because while the world applauded his talent, he focused on impact. To his village of Bambali, he sent millions. He built a hospital where there was none, a school where children once sat on dirt floors. He brought electricity, solar power, and internet access. He gave monthly stipends to families, supported education, and paid for medical expenses of people he didn't even know. He lives modestly, shunning luxury. No flashing watches, no flaunting cars. When asked why, Mané replied, "Why would I want 10 Ferraris, 20 diamond watches, and 2 jet planes? I starved. I worked in the fields. I played barefoot. I prefer that my people receive some of what life has given me." He remembers every ache in his stomach, every sleepless night, every lonely training session, and he uses that memory not to mourn, but to motivate. This isn't just the story of a footballer. It is a masterclass in purpose. It is a reminder that greatness is not a reward, it's a responsibility. That true power lies not in how much you take, but in how much you give. If your dream feels too far, if the world says you're too small, remember the boy from Bambali, who sprinted through dust with no shoes, and kicked open the doors of destiny. Sometimes, the most powerful players in the world don't just change scoreboards, they change lives. And now, it's your turn. No more waiting. No more doubting. Your dream is not foolish. Your background is not a barrier. Take the first step. Run like Mané. If this story moved you, share it with someone who needs to remember that greatness often wears the face of humility. You're not too late. You're just getting started.